Hi everyone, and tonight I'm going to be covering how you can make money finding what you love to do, and also give you some financial tips when it comes to changing your career. So I've actually just started, just so you know, doing some videos on Instagram. I'm playing around with that, really enjoying that, getting some great feedback from the videos. So I do cover other topics on Instagram as well, so head over to @SarahJCoaching on Instagram to catch some of my other tips. But tonight we're going to talk about how you turn your passion into doing something you love. Now, I don't know about you, but I've had jobs in my life where I've felt really passionate about them in some way and really enjoyed what I've been doing. And I don't know about you, but having looked back at my career, I can see that I had more success when I was passionate about what I was doing, okay? So I felt I was getting recognised more, I brought a different energy to the job. You know, when it was starting up my own business, I was really motivated because I had this picture of what my life would look like. So I firmly believe that when we're aligned to our values, our passion, and perhaps even a purpose, be that social contribution, be that helping others, be that technology or finance, whatever it is, I firmly believe that when we're aligned to our values, our strengths, our passion, then we've got a much better opportunity and drive to really help us succeed in our careers. I know that when I've been sat in roles or professions where I've been kicking my heels, not feeling very happy, those are actually the jobs and the roles that didn't work out for me. So I really believe, a lot of people are like, oh, the passion word. I think that's really, really important. If you can't live a life without passion, then you've got to have passion in something you're doing, whether it's a hobby or a job. What I will say, that if you are making a career change or you want to create a new business that is aligned to your passion and you want to make money doing it, I'm going to drop in another couple of P words for you. So if you've had passion, I'm going to say patience. Any career change, or especially if you're setting up your own business and building a new business from scratch, is going to require some patience, and it is going to require some perseverance, because it takes time to build a business. If you look at all the big businesses, they weren't overnight successes. If you look at Bill Gates, people like that, they were like working behind the scenes at college, you know, at college, in a college lab, in garages for years and years and years and years before they became successful. So I just want to give you a bit of a reality check there, that yeah, absolutely, identify your passion, but do have patience and do have perseverance. And thanks for those of you that have joined me tonight. As I've mentioned, I've just done something on a different career topic on Instagram, so check out my videos there. So how do we get to understand what might be some of our passions? Well, just have a look and think about, you know, what are you drawn to? Even if it's things like hobbies, books, films, what are some of those childhood dreams that maybe you've cast aside? And again, this is where patience come in. Don't put yourself under pressure to start thinking about what the passion is and how to make money from it overnight. Take some time. This is like a bit of an adventure. It's an exploration. And I know that certainly when I've gone through these career shifts and changes, it's taken me a little while, and actually a coach or a mentor or reading a book that's reminded me of something, like, God, yeah, I'd love to do that. It's taken that patience and a bit of perseverance to get there. Sometimes it doesn't quite happen overnight. So passion, patience and perseverance. When you do get to that point where you think, do you know what, I'm really passionate about this business, I really want to make money doing what I love, then have a think about what are your key strengths and talents, and maybe write a list of what those key strengths and talents are. And if you're able to, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs as well that are setting up businesses, if there are things that you don't enjoy doing or you don't feel you're particularly good at, so for me, for example, that might be technology. Not really interested in technology. I'm not really interested in understanding how it works. If you can, outsource some of the stuff that you're not very good at, perhaps, or less good at, and you're not really interested in getting to understand a bit more. Because what I found with entrepreneurs is they sometimes get a bit dragged down in some of those tasks they don't want to do. So we sort of tend to explore, well, how could you outsource those? Or if you can't outsource them, how can you bring some motivation to that? Thinking about how that thing you don't enjoy, how can you make that task more enjoyable? How does it align to your personal values and your strengths? So have a look at your skills and talents, okay? The other thing is as well, I've mentioned it quite a few times, we need to stay away from people that have what I call energy vampires or drains. So we want to be around people that support our goals and lift us up. What we don't want to do is be around people that are going to drag us where we are. I always say be very careful about who you share your goals, your dreams, your intentions, your visions with, because sometimes people will say, well, why are you doing that? Comfortable job, why are you bothering to set up this new business? And that's not because they're mean people. Sometimes it's just they're in a different mindset to you, a different place in their life, or perhaps they didn't have those opportunities themselves and it feels a bit scary. So being around people that can put that negative light on it, or give you advice that you actually didn't ask for in the first place. Don't know about you, but I've had a bit of that in my life. Just develop a bit of bubble wrap around you, protect you from those energy vampires and minimize your time. I've been coaching someone recently and we were going through this passion that he has for setting up a business, but he was feeling a lack of motivation. And we did look at what are your energy zappers, and he actually found, I hate to say it guys, that it was his family. Now he loves his family, he wants to spend time with his family, but he's had to really think about what his boundaries are in terms of how far he's prepared to go with some of those relationships, how he manages his own energy. When you think about turning your passion into something you love to do, think about as well, I've talked about the skills inventory, the stuff that you don't like to do, you're not interested in doing. Can you outsource it and find a more enjoyable way of doing it if you can't outsource it to somebody else? Think about what comes really easily to you. And I bet you these are things you won't even have thought of. There'll be things that you don't even think about doing. You're just in the flow when you're doing them. So think about what comes easily to you. And then, if you are thinking of setting up a new business, find time to do it. If it is a new business, a new role, allocate some time, but don't exhaust yourself finding your way through to how you do that. And then if you want to start promoting what you're doing, find time to do things like, build an online reputation, blog, put things on LinkedIn if it's a career shift that you want to do. Make time for those kind of things to build your reputation in that area. And if you think, well, there's a subject I'm passionate about, but how do I make money from it? There's loads of different ways you can do this. We're living in a kind of knowledge economy now where we're all thirsty for knowledge, learning, development, that kind of thing, because our life doesn't just stay on one single kind of line. It moves around a lot. There's a lot of changes going on in the world, as we know. There always is, and stuff happens to us. So you can look at, as I've talked about, putting things on LinkedIn, on social media. You can think about, well, hang on, could I make a living blogging from this? Could I create and monetize a YouTube channel if I like speaking and doing videos on this very subject? Could I offer what I do as a coach or as a consultant or a mentor? Could I provide, could I set up an online course like on Udemy or something like that and start to get my name out there and associate myself with the thing that I'm really passionate about? I've met plenty of people that are living, quite a nice lifestyle really, and doing the work that they really enjoy remotely. So there's lots of different ways of doing it, okay? So let's talk a little bit about money in terms of what that looks like. So maybe you've got an idea of your passion, and I've given you a few tips about how to keep that passion going. That perseverance and patience is important. Don't worry if it doesn't come overnight. It might take a few iterations till you really hit jackpot, okay? And not being around people that are too negative, okay? So let's think about the financial aspect of things. There are a number of different ways that you can approach finances and a career change or setting up a business. Now, maybe you're on furlough, maybe you work part-time anyway, or maybe you could work part-time. Is there a way that you can start to build up what it is that you want to do on the side? So is it something that could be, I guess you could call it a side gig or a hack or something like that? Can you build that up over time and build it up so that you've still got some income coming in from your main job, but you can build up this other thing and then eventually have like a couple of revenue streams, or build up the side hack into your main career? So think about that, particularly at the moment. I know our work situations are all changing at the moment because of what's happened this year. Are you working part-time? Is your company open to flexible hours? Are they open to compressed hours? Sometimes you can work 5 days in 4. You can have flexible hours. You might have part-time opportunities, job share opportunities, and that gives you some freedom to really start building up the other thing that you do with your time, that is the career that you might want to do in the future. Then think about finances in terms of, do a bit of a reality check about what you need to earn and what you want to earn. What income do you want to create? So think about, well, if I'm really serious about this career change, do I need to look at exactly how much money I need to live and happily live? I'm not talking about limiting yourself necessarily. You'll know what that number is. Think about what you need and actually what you want. And are you prepared to, like, maybe do a bit of a reboot on what you want to earn whilst you're building up the other thing? Does that make sense? So there's a number there about what you want to earn and what you need to earn. And then when you're setting up your business, that's a whole different ball game in terms of thinking about how much do I want to earn from this business. And then you kind of retrofit it back to go, well, if I want to earning this from this business or new pursuit in 3 years' time, what do I need to be earning like year 3, year 2, year 1, and then you can break it bit by bit and figure out what's the fastest way for me to get to that number. So I think about wants versus needs, and then that really helps you to understand what your financial comfort zone is, because I'm never going to be the sort of career coach that says to you, yeah, just quit your job and learn to play the tuba. You know, you might be the world's greatest tuba player, but you know, sometimes it does take time to set up a business. So this is just about being a bit more realistic about the finances, because I know it's a particular area that does come up with clients, and we do go into that. Once we've identified the passion and the big picture view of what people want, we then start to break down the finances and go, okay, we want to make that feel realistic. Because if it doesn't feel realistic to us, chances are, science has shown, if it doesn't feel realistic, we're going to self-defeat ourselves and not achieve the goals that we want to achieve. So we really need to understand our financial comfort zones, wants versus needs. So, you know, think about, where do you see your family or yourself in 6 months' time, 1 year time, 5 years' time? So play around with those different time zones, and it gives you a really good sense of financially where you need to be to make your dreams a reality. Okay, so there's a question you can ask yourself as well. Would you rather work in a new career in 6 months by saving money, or continuing in a job that makes you unhappy? So I know that's kind of one or the other. Maybe there's something in between that you can come to in terms of what I've just said, in terms of looking at part-time work, compressed hours, and things like that. So, you know, this is about being a little bit realistic about balancing your risk, you know, what your monetary risk is, what your attitude to risk is. Some people are very happy to go, bang, I'm just going to leave, I'm just going to change. If you've had a redundancy, that gives you a nice nest egg for you to start thinking about, how do I use this wisely to set up my new venture or move into my new career. Another thing you can do, and I've been doing this, I did it myself actually, and I've done it with a lot of clients over lockdown, is also figuring ways of saving money. I do this quite regularly, and actually I was shocked to find how much I was spending on things that I didn't really need to, and how little bits of money add up to a whole lot of money. And I've done this with a client, and I think we identified at least £10,000. It was like, oh, I didn't realise I was spending that on this, oh my God. And once you get that reality check, it slowly makes you recalibrate what you're doing with your money and what you're spending. So take a really realistic view of what you're doing, and think about, where can I save, or where can I save and set it aside to grow your business, okay? Now, there are other options. There's crowdfunding, and also there are small business loans. There are also, I don't know where you are based in the world, but in the UK, there's lots of development grants. Local sort of governments and councils have different schemes to help people set up a business. So think about that. Think about where you can save money, where you're spending money that maybe you don't need to. And that, when you think about, I'm spending, what, 10 grand on this, and it's not really bringing me closer to my goals, but actually if I had that money and just saved a little bit and didn't spend so much on that, I could pump that into this business, okay? So it's worth doing that due diligence. Regular thing as well that I do is looking at my bills, renegotiate your bills. Look at things like, you know, I don't know, If you have an accountant, are you getting the best value for money? Have a look at your TV packages, have a look at your mortgage. There are so many comparison sites, there are so many deals to be had, there are so many new offers coming up, so we can always renegotiate your bills and, you know, find cheaper options of different ways of doing things, okay? If you're in a partnership and you are thinking of changing your career or setting up a business, then I'd really recommend you discuss this with your partner, because relationships are built on solid communications amongst other things. So have you got a partner where you've sit down and discussed it with them, you've discussed the plan, and is your partner willing to take on some extra expenses of the income whilst you begin your new career? Say, for example, you're both working full-time and you want to drop down to 4 days a week. How can your partner help you in this situation? It's really important you have that open, upfront conversation, and then you can sit down and plan together. And as I say so many times, when things are written down in paper, it stops it all bobbing around in our head and being very, very confusing. So there's another way of looking at finances. You can consider other sources of income. So there may be ways, I've described about blogs, videos, you can do freelance work, consultancy, vlogs, what else, YouTube videos, all sorts of different things that you can do. Are there different ways for you to bring in your finances? You know, could you do market research, mystery shopper? I mean, I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there now, but those are things that I've seen. Are there other ways for you to supplement your income during this career change? Could you do some like mini freelance gigging, you know, join a jobs board like People Per Hour, Upwork, freeup.net, Be Divine, Etsy? Oh my goodness, Etsy is a lovely place for arts and crafts and furniture and all sorts of different things. Could you sort of set up a shop or a mini gig on the side that allows you to start earning and bringing in some money? You know, so that's another way of doing it. If you are fed up in your current role and you want to move to something different, you can still carry on with your current role, but perhaps you can do that in a way of contracting or freelancing that will supplement your income as well. There are other ways of supplementing your career change. You could rent your garage, rent your drive. You know, I have actually rented a drive when I used to drive down to London a lot, and it's amazing what you could probably earn by renting out your drive if you're happy to do that. Looking at things like having a lodger, having some rental income. So think outside the box about the different ways that you can sort of finance your career change. So what I would say is if you have got some debts that you need to pay off, maybe it's worth thinking about those. Now, a mortgage, typically, I'm not giving you financial advice. That's, you know, it's very unusual for us to buy a house outright, let's face it. But, you know, are there ways in which you can cut down any credit cards, things like that, or switch credit cards so that you can like bring down those amounts? Always regularly look at your credit cards, look at your bills, look at what you're paying and think, can I get a better deal somewhere else? And the likelihood is that you will. So there's lots of resources online for that. So as you can see, there's many different ways that you can start to think about financing your career change. And I've just covered the tip of the iceberg. So we've talked about passion, we've talked about patience, we've talked about perseverance. You know, when we talk about passion, it's like, do you know what's the stuff that I really enjoy doing? What comes to you easily? What are some of those childhood dreams you've maybe suppressed because you were told they weren't a good idea? Talked about not being around energy vampires or people that are going to bring you down. Share your goals with people that, you know, really want you to succeed and got your best interests at heart and aren't going to like label it with what's going on in their worlds. What's your risk level? You know, are you somebody that's happy to go, do you know what, just hate my job, I'm going to quit, you know, and quit and just like really pursue my business? Or do I need to actually stay in my current job whilst I'm building up the other business? And you can start doing some side gigging, opening up a shop on Etsy, something like that, doing freelance work on the side, doing blogs, content, all of that sort of stuff can start bringing you revenue, because when you start doing those things, it takes time to build a profile and it takes time to monetize your content. When you monetize your content, that means you've got a following and a reach. That means that advertisers and other people will want to advertise on your channel. You can do like affiliate marketing where you work off each other's lists. So it does take time to build that kind of reputation. So I'd start doing it now. But this is all stuff that could be done as well as a full-time job, or, as I say, renegotiate your current position to 4 days a week, compressed hours like 5 days in 4 or 4 in 3. See if there's any flexibility over your hours. So really think about those different options and your risk levels, and that's your risk level, and your attitude to risk is going to denote which option is best for you. Speak to your partner. Speak to your partner about what you plan to do and whether they can help you as well. Perhaps friends and family can help as well. Perhaps your family would be really willing to help you with your career change. Bills, we've talked about bills, and also look at grants. There's lots of different grants that are floating around, small business loans that can help you really set out your business plan and then apply for those grants and loans. So that, we've talked about renting out your room, renting out your drive, that, there's so many different ways to supplement your income, as well as looking at what you're spending and identifying, wow, I didn't realise I was spending so much on this. Do I need it? And is it more important for me that money goes into the thing that I'm passionate about? So honestly, I do this every few months and I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's just kind of crept up, or I didn't realise I was spending quite so much. So I'm going to stop doing that because I need to channel it into a new area of my business that I want to get into, and have a look at those bills on a regular basis. So have a look at, as well as I mentioned, what you want to earn, what you need to earn, and figure out where you are with that. What you need to earn is what you need to sort of live comfortably still. We're not saying about sacrificing too much, but there might be some little sacrifices you might want to make. And if your passion is really, really important to you. Oh, hi there. Hi Ahmed, nice to see you. Oh, there's a little smiley laughing face there. I'm sorry, I can't understand the middle character there. I'm nearly at the end of this actually. I've been talking about how you can finance career change. So, consider that risk level and think about what do I need to earn to live a happy life still? What can I cut back, and am I willing to cut back? And what do I want to be earning from my business? And then start setting that out as maybe a 3-year goal, 2-year goal, 1-year goal, and then really break it down even further, month by month by month. So as I've mentioned tonight, there are so many different ways that you can finance a career change and start to make money from your passion whilst you're still doing something else. So lots of different ways that you can do that. I thought I'd share that with you tonight because it's not a topic that I've covered before. But if you're really passionate about what you're doing, it's best that you start now. Start building that profile, start looking, start building that reputation, because the longer you put it off, the longer it's probably going to take you to get going. So start now and think about some of those creative ideas I've shared with you about how to add additional income by side gigging, and look at your finances and your risk levels and the different techniques that I've shared with you this evening. So that was finances and career change. It can sometimes be a thorny subject, but when you start looking at the reality, there's always ways around it if you're determined to find something you love to do or create that new business. And plenty of people are doing it. And people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates didn't start off millionaires, billionaires, whatever they are, trillionaires, I don't know. But it took them time, but they started young, they started early, and they really got going. And they didn't have all the money in the world to start with, but they built and built and built over time. So there you go, finances and career change. It is possible to make that shift and still be earning what you're doing. I did that. I was freelance part-time, cut it down a bit so that I could really build up the other side of my business that I'm doing now. So it is possible, as long as you're clear what your passion is, and that's going to take a bit of working out, a bit of time, but just really think about, what do I want my career and my business to look like in a few years? Have I got time to wait? If I stay still, and if I look in a year's time and I'm still in the same place, how am I going to feel about that? And chances are, if you're really passionate about changing your career, what you do for a living, then you're probably not going to be very happy being in the same position in a year's time. So thank you for joining me tonight, and I'll be doing another live next Friday. They're all on my events page. As I've said, check out at Sarah J Coaching on Instagram, because I'm doing regular Instagram lives. I did one on the Udemy channel last night about career change. There's loads of tips in there. If you go to the Udemy Instagram channel, have a look at that. And thank you for joining. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.